The first thing you want to do is get your clay board and write your full name and your class period on the tape. This is where we will store our clay project. Then you're going to get a piece of clay to roll out a slab. A slab is a flat piece that you can build from. Here I have 2 slab guides and a rolling pin. And I am going to always start from the center of my clay and roll outwards. I am trying to make the clay big enough so I can cut my game board from this. It's really important that your slab guides always are close enough to where the clay can spread, but so that your rolling pin can still roll on it almost like a train track. So they need to make contact with the slab guides. You know you're done with your slab when no more clay will move. You're going to put your template down onto your slab and you're going to use a needle tool to outline the template. Then you'll go back and you'll cut deeper to remove the pieces around your slab. You'll peel up your template and then this will be the shape of your basic game board. I'm using a lid of an old marker just to make marks where my ACHI board spots will go. That way I can make sure that they are even from one another and they make that 3x3 grid that I need. And so once those spots are there, I'm going to use a straight tool like a ruler to just press down gently into the clay, connecting the dots in that same pattern we saw on that Ghana gold piece. That also makes the the game board or the pattern of the ACHI board. Now I'm using my finger to press and smooth out those areas so that they're a little bit indented, so that way my pieces have a place to sit on the board, but they don't necessarily have to be the same size as your pieces. It's just an aesthetic thing. It makes it look nice and neat. So now I'm going to go in with a wooden tool and I'm going to gently push down and try to pull a straight line or draw a straight line in the clay. If you mess up, you can just use a wet finger to smooth out that line and try again. Later in the video, you'll see that I decide to make these squiggly lines, which is a great way to problem solve if you're struggling with pulling a straight line. You could also try to use a tool like a ruler to make indentions in your clay. Just make sure you clean off any tools that you use. So here I'm using my finger to smooth around the areas and I am just really taking my time pulling these straight lines. This video is sped up quite a bit so you can imagine how much time I'm spending on this step. That way it's nice and neat and orderly for my board and my game pieces. Okay, so now I'm smoothing out any areas with my finger to make the clay look smooth. And remember, you can do this with a wet finger, but honestly, if you put too much water on your finger, you're going to turn it to mud. Here I'm using a texture tool to add texture to the outside of my board. We've got things like seashells and little plastic animals, beads, combs, tons of different things. So you can just check the texture tools. I'm going to set up a clay cart for all those extra tools. Okay, so once I'm happy with my board, then I'm going to show you how to wrap it up for the day while you work on your project. You have to put plastic wrap under your clay and wrap around your clay. Any of your clay scraps from your slab are also going to go into this plastic wrap. You really want to make sure that you wrap it tightly so these pieces don't dry out. I'm even adding another piece of plastic just to make sure it's all wrapped properly, and I'm going to store that at the top left corner of my board so when I put it away, it is nice and neat.